Hello, flower friends. This is Jen, and you're listening to the Floral Hustle Podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to make it edgy. How to capture or how to really harness your inner badass. And this came to my mind because I have really been thinking a lot about like the things that I do that bring me joy, the things that make me feel a certain way, the things in my business that make me feel really, really good, and the things in my life that just aren't sticking. So I've been really going through this process of like what really makes me happy. And I often think that we are living our whole life really in reaction to other people's agendas, other people's lives, like just everybody else's stuff deprioritizes how we want to feel, how we want to be. And we're always worried about everybody else's judgment and everybody else's like opinion. And we can't do this because, this makes us feel unsafe. Just all of these things pile up on you. And I choose to live my life by design instead of in reaction to. So what would that look like? And I want to talk to you about like a couple different exercises that I go through that really help make me fundamentally a badass. And I think that's pretty weird because actually yesterday was my 45th birthday. And I still, at 45, am so badass. Like, my life is badass. My business is badass. Like, I kick ass and take names. Like, it's funny because, like, somebody will ask me, like, I'm up to, and sometimes I'll just be, like, plotting floral world domination. I truly feel like that if I want to go after something, if I want something in my life or my business, like there is nothing stopping me. And for most people, everything is stopping them. I can't do that because of this. This is in my way. I can't do this. My partner isn't supportive of this. Like I have every single year since I was 19, I think, 20, made over $100,000 a year. Like, that's big. Like, nothing has held me back financially. And I think, like, most people, they live in this scarcity mindset that money isn't abundant. Money is so abundant. You just need to figure out what angle is going to work. And so what angle are you working to, like, increase your revenue, increase your personal income? Because there isn't just one way. And that's what I think a lot of us get stuck in. It's just that one way is the only way we know how, which isn't true. The average millionaire billionaire, whatever, has over 7 revenue sources. So 7 sources of revenue that are bringing income in. So I want to talk about the first exercise. I went to, and if you've listened to the podcast a while, you've heard the story. When I decided that I wanted to make a big shift, I wanted to make a big change. I really wanted to coach. I really wanted to do these big things. I decided that I was going to fly down to see Ali Casaza, who is someone who I look up to. She has a multiple 7-figure business selling courses to overwhelm moms. And like she has a podcast, she has courses, she has all these different revenue streams. And I really loved her approach to having things be easy, having a business that's really running in alignment with yourself. And so I flew down to spend the day with her. It was a VIP day. And I went down there for this VIP day and we were together all day. And I left there with a plan that within 45 days, I was launching my podcast. I was doing all these big things in my business. I was realigning like our other business that I wasn't going to be focusing on that anymore, realigning my effort, my energy, going into this, that like from this abundant mindset that like I am worthy of all these things that I want to do and just this kind of plan. But one of the most interesting exercises that we went through is like, what am I doing right now that makes me feel like a badass? Like that I feel really accomplished. Like, what are these things that I've accomplished? If you want to call it accomplishment list. And I like to position like, what am I doing right now that makes me a badass? Like when somebody's like describing me or when somebody's like, like a friend is talking to somebody about me or one of you guys are explaining me to somebody else. Like what comes to mind? And she actually I filled up like half a page and I was stuck. And she's like, Jeni, this is the first time I've actually spent time with you. Yes, we have, had conversations back and forth via text message, but I could write a page and a half, 2 pages about you, and I just met you. And that like gave me perspective, like that I was thinking too small, that I was not really looking at the things that I'd done in a big way. Like I was minimizing. We always minimize our sparkle. We minimize our brightness. We minimize because like in life, that's what we are supposed to do. And I have rock star red hair. I have full sleeve tattoos. I show up to CrossFit on my fucking motorcycle. I have 2 beautiful children that like, I will let them dress themselves. If they want to rock out on whatever, like as long as it's not inappropriate, because we do have those boundaries. Like I am authentically myself and myself is pretty freaking cool. And that's weird to say, but I am a cool mom. I am a cool human being. Like I have so much love to give. I have so much, all of the people that I'm friends with, like I give in those relationships. Even my CrossFit coach, we were talking about ManyChat and chat funnels and how that whole thing works because he had no idea. Like we have conversations about the gym. I had just hosted one of my good friends from my younger, more badass years, like her baby shower. She's having a baby at 40 and I like couldn't be happier for her. And like I put this beautiful shower together and like she's telling everybody just because I'm good at party planning that I was a party planner. I was like, I'm actually not a party planner. It's just like something I really, for one, I'm good at. I am good at putting together and curate. That's one of the reasons why I love putting workshops together is because I love curating these experiences for people. And I love all these beautiful little details in them. That makes me a badass. Like I put together amazing workshops that people leave with actionable steps and value. Like my workshops deliver value and on top of it aren't $4,000. Like every time I see a workshop that's $4,000, I'm like, that is just not doable when you are building a business. Like, could I drop 4Gs? Yeah, but I don't need to at this level. Like those seem just unreachable. And I just want to deliver so much value in my life. That's why I deliver so much free content, my Instagram here, my freebies. Like I do business breakthrough coaching because I want to make coaching accessible to people and I want people to be able to learn from what other people are going through. And so like all these little things, she had me write this list of what made me a badass. I got stuck on half a page. I got to 1 page and I was like, I got nothing left. And she's like, you got so much left. And so then I kept like thinking and I kept going through and she just like kept pushing me. And so I ended up with 2 pages. So think about that. Could you go right now and grab a notebook and document like what makes you a badass right now? What are you doing in your life that you're not giving yourself enough credit for? This is part of the reason why I became a life coach in addition to a florist business coach, because I know that so many problems in business are actually personal. They start in your heart and in your head, and they're blocks from when you grew up, from what your mom said to you, from not feeling good enough, from being made fun of. Like we live in a effed up society sometimes. that everybody just wants to fight and everybody just has to have opinion about everything. The opinion that matters most is my own and how I feel. And if we started living in that way and started giving our power to ourselves instead of being powerless and having our power taken by others, by people talking crap, by people like disagreeing with you and you running around with your fist up like that you just want to fight the world. I want the world to be a better place, but you know what? I'm making a better place because I am growing some amazing humans that are going to be so amazing as adults. They are going to be empathetic. They are going to be loving and kind and just different. Like, they are not going to be shitheads when they grow up. Like, I had this school come to me, and especially my daughter, Bella, they were like, "You have raised one of the most kind humans that I have ever had in this school." Like, I'm crushing it in the mom game because I'm raising different. I'm setting out to not be like the mom I have because I don't want my daughter to ever feel like how I do right now with past situations. I am putting my best foot forward, and it's like there are so many times that I think that especially in this age range, if you're in the 30 to 50, like you're just like all these moments that you went without because of scarcity, because of misunderstanding, because of misinformation, because of all these things. My daughter, my son will never have gone without. If my daughter needed help with something, I got that help. If my son needs help with something, he got that help. Like, I am raising better humans and I am putting my best mom foot forward, and that makes me a badass. So what is it for you? Grab a notebook out. What makes you a badass right now? Like, let's sit in some positive vibes for a little bit of what you've accomplished. And then my next exercise. So fill up that page, like at least get to one page. If you can do 2, more power to you. Next, flip that notebook page. And I want you to go and write what makes me feel like a badass. What makes you feel like your best self? What makes you feel like your most authentic self? What makes you feel like so in alignment with your life, your partner, your business? Like, write all those things down. And let's start to figure out how we can start doing more of those things. So one of those things on mine was ride a motorcycle. And when my son was born, he's now 5. Like, I got rid of my motorcycle because I just felt like here I am again in early mom years. And like, moms aren't supposed to have things that don't fit car seats. And last year when I started, I was like really getting in tune with like diving into happiness, like what makes me happy, like realizing that those things aren't very far-fetched. If I want those, I can go get them. And so I decided to go buy myself a motorcycle for my birthday. And I didn't go like, I always ride crotch rockets, if you know what that is. It's like a sport bike. And I didn't go and buy a really fancy one. I normally had 1,000cc motorcycles, so big. And I was like, I'm okay if I have like a little 300 because it's just for me. It's for my joy. It was like $4,500 with tax and everything, brand new. And I'm like happier than like the joy that it brings me when I walk around out to the studio and I see my badass teal wheel motorcycle. Like, that makes me so happy that $4,500 was a no-brainer. But you don't need to spend $4,500 if there are tennis shoes that make you happy when you look at them, if there are flower shirts, if there are whatever. Like, how can you incorporate that into your life? I feel more badass when I go to CrossFit. I feel more badass when I'm going into pottery class and I'm doing wheel pottery. there is something that makes me feel so in alignment with the human that I'm supposed to be when I go to that class. I feel so relaxed. I feel so in a zone that it just feels so good. And so like right now I'm not going to pottery class because of wedding season. And I'm like, this is like, doesn't feel good. And so I'm already looking like, how can I fix how I feel right now? I feel more badass when I've been doing some type of kickboxing, boxing, some type of martial arts like that. And I actually taught in my younger, more badass years. I taught kickboxing. I taught a lot of different women's fitness class that it would be a whole separate episode that you guys would probably think is hilarious. But like I've been thinking, how am I going to figure out how to do that? Like even if I'm going like once a week, I feel like so tough and so good when I do that. When I go get a massage, I go to like the little massage kiosks at a mall, or there's a little massage, like kind of, looks like a temporary store, but it's their store, but it's, you go in there and there's chair massages and tables. And like, I feel more myself when I've had a massage because I've been in a couple car accidents and like my back feeling good is important to me. So like that makes me feel good. And so like, make a list and then pick in that list. Like I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get to pottery class? How am I going to get to go to a kickboxing class? How am I going to infuse that in my life? It makes me feel really good to bring my kids fishing, even though I'm a vegetarian and I think like I'm never going to eat one of those things in my life. But like I love the joy that they have. What is that for you? And can you pick like one of those things on that, like, this makes me feel like a badass list and say, I'm going to do one of these things this month. That could be learning another language. That could be painting. That could be like, let's even think about it with your business. I feel more like a badass when I'm doing this kind of arrangement or I'm doing this kind of, I'm working with these flowers. Like, what if you could incorporate one flower that made your heart just like sing every wedding? Or you don't do a wedding or you don't do whatever job you're doing unless something is joy giving, that you tweak it to make it joyful for you. Could you do that? Would that be more doable? Like picking that one thing off your big badass list. Okay, then from there, what would another list, another page, what would make you feel more badass in your business? Making more money, having bigger weddings, having more weddings, doing more funeral work, working with inspiring flowers, having a team, having a studio, doing a photo shoot. What is that? Get that list out. Like start thinking like, how can I make this happen? Because that's where the magic is. When you're pushing yourself into your zone that you feel like your best, truest self, that's when your business is going to feel good. Not when you're doing a bunch of grunt work that like doesn't feel good, that you hate the outcome, you hate all these things about it. How can you start to choose and push your business in a direction that makes you feel like so accomplished? That it's not like this kind of aching feeling of like, God, dread or overwhelm. Like, what if your business just felt good? What would that look like? And start thinking like, how could I make that happen? Social media often makes people feel like shit. They hate the process of it. They hate doing it. They hate everything. What if you just went in and like figured this out to just pay someone to do it and took that off your plate because it doesn't feel good and you don't do things that don't feel good? What if that was your mantra? Like, I don't do things that don't feel good. Wouldn't that be interesting? What would your life be like if you started making decisions and you were just like glowing in this new version of yourself that deserves so many big things, that is no longer afraid to go get those big things because you were the biggest, most badass version of yourself that you ever have been. And I am a different version of myself now at 45 than I was when I was 20. But like, it's just different. They're still relative. I used to think when I was 20, it was so cool. I would go down to it was like a nightclub, and there would be like 70 to 100 motorcycles that would come there, and they would meet at 10 o'clock. And then we would stay there till 10:30, and we would go over to this gas station, and everybody would fill up, and then more people would meet there. And that was around 11. And then we would just go ride our motorcycles for hours, like sometimes 3 hours, like riding motorcycles till like the middle of the night. And of course, like being a girl on a motorcycle, and I was a cute little like thing back in those days. I mean, it like the attention and the excitement and the masculinity and the hotness, like I just loved tattooed motorcycle dudes because that was a good idea for some reason back then. And like, I just was thinking about, like that was so much fun. But then I was thinking about like now and like, look at this business that I've built. Look at my beautiful children. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm going to go to a CrossFit 3 to 4 times a week. I have the ability to hire a trainer to make sure that I don't hurt myself and make sure I'm optimizing myself. Like now in my life, it's like, how can I optimize and amplify? And that's like a different type of badass. And that's okay that it changes. I think most people feel like you have kids and you're done. You're toast. Or you don't have kids, or you don't have something, and you only have one sense of purpose, which is your business, which is so not true. Like, you need to have bigger, deeper purpose in your life to have deeper, bigger purpose in your business. They are two different things, but they go hand in hand. Like, you need to have happiness in your life to have happiness in your business. And that's why, like, I went all in to be a life coach, because I knew that there was such a tie that without one, it's really hard to have the other. So, do you got a notebook out? Go make some lists. And I would love to hear them. Like, I would love for you to screenshot and tag me on Insta, like my badass list, or what makes me feel like a badass. And I would love to hear, and I would love to cheer you on. There is not enough cheering on in the world. So if you are accomplishing big things, that's awesome. I am proud of you. If you are like wanting to do these big, bold things and something's holding you back, you can do it. I believe in you, because you can be unstoppable. You can be fearless. You can do so many big things in your life, and it can start today. And I know that also is a weird comment. Like, everything takes time to build. You can start making choices today that are your most badass version of yourself choices. You can choose to eat the healthier lunch. You can choose to get your ass up and go for a walk. You can choose to go put a face mask on to feel good. You can choose to take 10 more minutes in the bathtub away from your kids to get some zen in your life. Like, all of these choices, these little mini micro choices, can make you into a happier version of yourself. And it's not selfish. It's actually self-harming to not do it, because then you're going to be that rundown person that doesn't have any capacity, that doesn't have any steam left, that has nothing left to give. because you've given it all away to everybody else but yourself. So it's time for you to live the life that you want. We only have one. You might believe in the afterlife or whatever is going on there, and that's absolutely amazing. But let's live this life as the most badass version of ourselves, living the happiest life that we possibly can, and doing all the big things that we were meant to do. Thank you so much for listening, flower friend, and you have an amazing flower-filled week.